This is for educational purpose only. Our group is allowing our instructor, Mr. Roldan Ardines, to use this as an educational material. What is global governance with the integration of COVID-19? So, global governance refers to the system, rules, and institutions that manage global issues and coordinate international cooperation among countries and other actors. It's about how the world works together to address challenges that cross borders like climate change, security, and in this case, a global pandemic like COVID-19. So, when we talk about global governance in the context of COVID-19, we're looking at how countries, international organizations like the World Health Organization, and other stakeholders, such as scientists, NGOs, and businesses, work together to respond to the pandemic. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the both strengths and weaknesses of global governance. So, first, coordination and cooperation. Countries had to work together to share information, research, and resources to combat the virus. For example, scientists from the different nations collaborated to develop vaccines in record time, and international organizations coordinate global health responses. And for challenges in equitable access, despite efforts to distribute vaccines globally, there were significant disparities in access. Wealthier countries were able to secure vaccines for more quickly, while many poor nations struggled to get enough doses. This unequal distribution revealed gaps in global governance, where some countries were left behind despite of efforts to promote global solidarity. And for the role of international organizations, the World Health Organizations played a key role in guiding the global response to the pandemic by providing guidelines, coordinating research, and supporting countries' efforts to manage the virus. However, the World Health Organization also faced criticism for delays and perceived biases, showing that global governance can be complex and imperfect. National versus global interest. Throughout the pandemic, there was tensions between countries focusing on their own national interest, like securing vaccines for their populations, a need for a coordinated global response. This highlights a central challenge of global governance, balancing national sovereignty with the need for global cooperation. And for learning and improving, the pandemic exposed weaknesses in how the world handles global crises, leading to discussions about how to improve global governance. This includes better preparation for future pandemics, improving global system, and ensuring that international cooperation is stronger and more effective. So in simple terms, global governance with the integration of COVID-19 refers how the world became together, or sometimes struggled to come together to tackle crises that affect everyone. It showed the importance of working together globally, but also highlighted areas where the world needs to do better managing such large-scale challenges.
How globalization affects governments. First, economic influence. As countries trade more with each other, their economies become linked. This means problem in one country can affect others, and government might need to work together more, reducing their independence. And to attract business around the world, government might need to change their rules and policies, sometimes making their economies more open and competitive. Second, political power. Global organizations and big companies often have a say in what happens in a country. This can reduce the government's control over its own policies. In some areas, especially in trade and environmental laws, government may have to follow international agreements, giving up some of their decision-making power. Third, cultural and social impact. With more global media and products, local cultures might feel threatened. Governments might struggle to protect their national identity while also embracing global influences. Globalization increased the movement of people and ideas, which can force governments to rethink policies on immigration, jobs, and social services. Fourth, environmental and regulatory issues. Issues like climate change require countries to work together. This means government must sometimes follow international rules even if they want to do things differently. To attract business, some government might lower their standards on things like environment or worker rights, leading to a weaker protection. Fifth, security and foreign relations. Globalization brings new threats like terrorism and cyber attacks that cross borders. Government must cooperate with others to tackle these issues. Governments might need to adjust who they work with internationally to reflect new global relationships and challenges. 6. Global opinion and governance. With the rise of global media and activism, government are more closely watched by both their own people and the world, making them more accountable. Not everyone benefits from globalization. Those who feel left out might support political movements that push for more national control and less global involvement. In simple terms, globalization connects countries more closely, which can bring benefits like economic growth and cooperation, but also challenges like reduced control over national policies and increased competition. Government changes navigate changes carefully to protect their interests while engaging in a global community.
I'm going to tackle about the institutions that govern international relation. So why do we need the institution that covering international relations? So internal relations allow nations to cooperate with one another for resources and share information was a way to face global issues that go beyond any particular country or region. Institutions such as United Nations, the World Trade Organization (WTO), and the International Court of Justice are taken to over time have developed power and influence to shape the foreign policies of individual states. The United Nations focused on five main areas. We have maintaining peace and security. Security, as we all know, unity protects us from all evil. Doing hence, we people should help each other, and together we should fight and face the evil and negative things. When we together stand only, then we get freedom from all kind of negative. Second, we have protecting human rights. Everyone has the right to freedom of thoughts, conscience, and religious. This right includes freedom to change his religions or belief and freedom either alone. Next is delivering humanitarian aids. Prosperity humanitarian is designed to save lives and only be suffering during and in the immediate aftermath of emergencies where are developed yet responsive ongoing structural issues, particularly systematic poverty that may hinder economic, additionally, and social development in way given society and assist in supporting sustainable development. The main goal of sustainable development is to transform our world to action to earn poverty and equality, protect the planet, and ensure that all people enjoy healthy justice and prosperity. Last is upholding international law. So international law emerged from an effort to deal with conflict among states just as rules provide order and help to mitigate destructive conflict. It is developed in a number of ways. First law often come out international agreed treaties between states. And there are three branches of international relation. First one is stra- strategic studies. Strategic studies are a real tool of development, recognition, approved, and principled in the national defense and security. The purpose of general usage is making decision and future security matters solution. The second one is international organization. International organization serve many diverse functions including collecting information and monitoring trends. The last one is international economic relation. International economic relations deals basically with those economic principles which govern exchange of goods between sovereign nations and with special policy problems which arise in views of this.
Internationalism and globalism are concepts that relate to how nations interact and cooperate with each other, but they emphasize different aspects of those interactions. Internationalism focus cooperation between sovereign nations, key idea. Internationalism emphasizes the importance of nations working together to address common challenges, but it respects the sovereignty of each nation. It is about building alliances, treaties, and international institutions like the United Nations to solve global problems while maintaining national identity and autonomy.
Globalism focus integration of nations into a single global system. Key idea. Globalism is more about the idea of an interconnected world where national borders become less relevant. It involves the integration of economies, cultures, and governance on a global scale, often leading to shared global standards, regulations, and economic practices. It suggests a world where global markets, trade, and communication networks transcend national boundaries. In summary, internationalism is about cooperative relations between sovereign nations, while globalism is about creating a more integrated and interconnected world system.
Identify the roles and function of United Nations. The United Nations is the international organization founded in 1945 after the World War II with the aim of promoting peace, security, and cooperation among a nation. It is composed of 193 members states has several key roles of function. Number 1. Maintaining international peace and security is the responsible for making discussion regarding the international peace and security, including the sanction, military intervention, and the peacekeeping operation. Number 2. Promoting a human rights. Protect human rights globally, ensuring that all individuals have the right to dignity, freedom, and equality. Number 3. Providing the humanitarian assistance in the response to, to natural disaster, conflict, and the crisis of the United Nations. Provide the humanitarian aid including foods, shelters, medical care, and education to those in need. Number 4. Promoting sustainable development. Work to achieve global development goals, particularly through the sustainable, helping the countries achieve the sustainable economic growth and the social development. Number 5. Upholding international law. promotes develop international law, ensuring justice and accountability, international relation and convention, help is resolving dispute between state, protecting international legal norms. The last, facilitating international cooperation, provide a platform for the countries to discuss the collaborate on the global issues such as the climate change, disseminate and the global health.
Manfred Steger offers a critical examination of how globalization affects the state sovereignty and relevance. His analysis challenges the view that globalization diminishes the importance of states, instead suggesting a more complex interplay where states remain central but evolved in response to global pressures. State sovereignty and globalization. Steger argues that globalization does not inherently undermine state sovereignty. Despite increased global interconnectedness, states continue to play a crucial role in global governance. They engage where international institutions negotiate treaties and assert their interests, thus maintaining significant influence on international stage. Adoption and transformation. Rather than experiencing a decline in relevance, states are adapting and transforming in response to globalization. This adaptation involves states redefining the rules by participating in global governance, regulating international markets, and address transnational challenges such as climate change and terrorism. These changes reflect a transformation in state function rather than a reduction in their importance. Economic and political pressures. Steger highlights the new pressure globalization places in state, and economically states must navigate the influence of multinational corporation and international financial institutions that affect national policies and economic stability. And state grapple with balancing national interests against global norms and expectation, managing the complexities of an interconnected world.
State capacity in globalization. The effectiveness of state in the globalized world hinges on their capacity to harness globalization for national advantage. States with a strong institution and adaptable strategies are better equipped to address the changes and opportunities posed by the globalization. Steger emphasizes that the state must enhance their capacity to remain effective in the face of the global changes. And the difference of the state capacity in globalization is the government ability to implement policies and to maintain order, while globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of economies, cultures, and societies across the world. State capacity focus on the domestic governance, whereas globalization involves cross-border interaction and influence. Global governance. Steger asserts that the state continued to play a central role in global governance, despite of the growth of international organizations and the networks. States shape global rules and norms through their involvement in international bodies in agreement. Their participation ensures that they maintain a significant influence over global governance in structures and process. Cultural and social dimension. Finally, Steger examines the cultural and social impacts of the globalization on states, While globalization encourages cross-cultural exchanges, states still play a crucial role in shaping national identities and cultural policies. They remain instrumental in defining and preserving cultural values and traditions amidst the global flow of ideas and influence.